Good morning, everyone. I've been meaning to make this video for a while now. The original plan was to get it out on January of 2020, but well, I guess I'm a bit late for that. There is also a short announcement towards the end. If you've been around our channel lately, you'll notice people leaving very positive comments about something related to me, HellCastle, and wishing me the best of luck and being overall amazing people. But those comments are always met with a ton of replies asking what's going on and just being confused. And that is what I'm here to clear out today, to tell you how the internet, and especially you guys, saved my life. So, I lived in this country called Lebanon. To most people, it sounds like the word lesbian misspelled, but some few know it, and some who do also know what's going on in it. It's a country right between Syria, Palestine, and Israel, right in the Middle East. Unless you live under a rock, you probably know what being in the middle of those places mean, but in case you do live under a rock, then, in short, it's bad. Not the, oh, I don't like this place, the weather is a bit too cold and the view isn't that nice. It's the, I don't have electricity anymore. Most food I eat is poisoned, everyone is depressed, schools, colleges, pharmacies, and hospitals are closed or barely functioning. I see my family and relatives fall into a spiral of endless misery because there's no possible way out type of bad. It's mostly due to the economy crashing, politics that I don't want to discuss to not be put on the hit list, and other factors that have been building for 20 to 30 years now, all of them to explode at the same time during the pandemic of 2021, which made COVID even more fun. Now, how does that translate to me? Well, first off, it's because I obviously lived there, and second off, all of these problems were amplified 10 times by mental illness and trauma, which I don't want to get into details here, but I've talked about them somewhere else, which I'll mention in a bit. I've been dealing with those ever since I was 15 in 2017, 2018-ish, and due to how expensive proper treatment and medication was for those kind of things in Lebanon, and due to my dad not believing in mental health at the time, which now he does by the way, he's amazing and I love him, I didn't continue through any of them, which made things obviously way worse the more time has passed. I thought if I just ignore mental health issues, then it will go away. But no, it just gets worse. Anyway, so fast forward 2 to 3 years in 2020, the pandemic hit, and in the beginning, it didn't affect me much since I was already the type of person to just spend all day at home playing OSU or Beat Saber or Geometry Dash, and most importantly, skyblock, HellCastle skyblock. Me and my friend Tyler were one day very bored and were like, hey, what if we start a YouTube channel about HellCastle skyblock? The goal would be to pass time in quarantine, and I don't know how far we can get, but let's give it our all. And giving it our all we did, goddammit. We uploaded like 165 days every single day of high quality edited videos. God, that was so fun, but we also got burned out really quickly, which is nothing but fair. Anyways, that year, 2020, was insanely productive for me and Tyler, and we had so much fun making videos. Despite it sucking and us being unable to meet friends or go outside, we made lots of friends online and built a really nice fanbase. 2021 rolls in. Nothing too crazy happened in the beginning. We kept uploading, we kept being us. My family had no source of income at all anymore, since my dad and I's jobs were in wedding planning and photography, and since no one is doing wedding parties in the pandemic, that line of work got completely obliterated. This YouTube channel and our fanbase was suddenly the only source of income for me and my family, which are my 2 sisters and my dad and my cat. It was honestly goddamn terrifying thinking about that. Me, at the age of like 17, 18, providing a loan for a whole family out of nowhere? Like, a few months ago, I was this useless person who does nothing but play games and feel like a burden on my family. And now I'm suddenly their savior. It took some time to get used to, and I'm still not fully adjusted to it, but it got better and felt easier. We kept uploading, I started finally taking care of my health and my body. Our channel started doing amazing, even more amazing than before. We kept it growing well. I was making lots of friends online, hanging out with my IRL friend more. Everything was going really, really well. I was happy. Not until August 17, 2021. This is the part I need to give you guys a disclaimer for. I will be talking about heavy topics next, such as suicide and self-harm. If you don't feel comfortable with this kind of talk and want to skip it, then please do so and skip to the time on screen right now. So, that date. On that day, I woke up at like 3 p.m. as usual. I noticed that my entire family is a bit stressed, and I also noticed that there was no electricity. I assumed there was just another maintenance or something and didn't let it bother me much. I also have a really big UPS, which whenever electricity cuts for maintenance, I turn it on and use my PC for like an hour before it cuts off or turns back on. So I turned it on, but then I noticed that there was no internet from my ISP, which was also weird. I was very skeptical of what's happening, so I asked my family if they've had any news they want to tell me. And well, they did. They told me that from now on, we'll only be getting 6 to 8 hours of electricity a day, and that our ISP called my dad and told him they most likely won't be able to give internet anymore very soon. Now, it took me a minute to think about all that altogether. First off, I was like, oh, okay, well, now that I'll not have much more electricity, that's alright. I could try to still produce videos in 8 hours per day. But if there's no internet, then... Wait, my entire life these past few years has been all about the internet, and the only source of our income is from this YouTube channel, which without internet won't be able to run, therefore we would have no income. Now, there was still other types of ISPs, but all of them have upload speed so bad that it would be physically impossible to upload a video before the electricity dies. Here is the part I start panicking. A mix of like 100 different emotions was building up inside me. It was mostly anger at first. I started breaking things, punching walls, punching myself. And then a few seconds later, it turned into sadness and was just me crying and breaking down in front of my entire family. I basically speedrun the 5 stages of grief and got a leaderboard record. Of course, I still regret making my family see me in such miserable state, since it was probably horrifying or possibly traumatic for them to witness such a quick and harsh breakdown of someone they love. After that, I just went into my room and laid in bed, which was possibly the worst decision I could have done. All kinds of awful thoughts started getting into my head. All kind of negative thinking was present, and in all honesty, I let it happen. I didn't even try to resist any bad thoughts. I probably just had given up by then, and I was like, yep, I don't think I care anymore. To me, back then, the reason I did that was probably because I felt like I'm going to lose the only thing that kept me alive and gave me a reason, and without it, I'm now useless. I thought I had to inform Tyler about this news since he's my best friend. I had some mobile data left and a bit of battery in my phone, so I decided to message him. I don't want to waste too much time narrating the entire conversation because it gets long, but I'll put screenshots of the most relevant parts of it, and honestly, Tyler handled the entire situation the best way any person could have handled it. Pause the video and read them if you're interested. At that time, I was extremely suicidal. To me, suicide was sort of like the only solution to this. I still can't really decide if it was selfish or selfless of me to think like that back then. TLDR to the conversation, he somehow convinced me to make a tweet or a tweet longer about my situation, which is still up till today if you want to read it. And in that tweet, I said so many things. Well, maybe too many things, like stating my past self-harm practices and past attempt at suicide, talking about traumatic events, describing them by details, etc. Because to me, It was more of a last goodbye note. But it was actually the complete opposite. What I thought was going to be my final say into this world was the reason I'm still here. I started getting so many encouraging DMs and comments, people making posts on subreddits about my situation, telling everyone to send me support and DM me nice encouraging words, and I was absolutely flooded with way too many kind messages that whole period of time. Despite me being in such a devastated mood, all the positivity eventually got to me, even though it felt like it's just words. But those words came from actual people who some of them wrote full-on paragraphs saying how much they appreciate what I do, or my friends writing me whole essays on why I shouldn't just give up. And eventually, all that positivity just got to me and tweaked something in me, which kind of made me not want to give up. At least not just yet. I then started noticing a few mentions of a GoFundMe or people who tried to start one for me. Initially, I thought the idea of a GoFundMe wouldn't work due to the ban complications, like GoFundMe being banned in Lebanon, and also because I had nowhere to go really, as immigration is insanely hard and takes years or at least months to do. And they all require crazy good education levels, or you gotta be lucky enough to get some sort of opportunity like that, especially for not just you, but also your entire family. But then, I discussed the idea of immigration furthermore with Tyler and with my dad, and after talking for a while, we figured out that Turkey would be the most suitable and easiest to immigrate to, due to the fact that it doesn't need a visa if you're Lebanese, which is insanely hard to obtain for any countries if you have a Lebanese passport, since it's really weak. And also because it's overall a very cheap country to live in. You don't need thousands of dollars a month to live there, and the amount my YouTube channel was making was enough, but the moving process, costs of tickets, and first year of rent, etc. would cost more than what I've had saved. That's when Tyler encouraged me to reach out to 30 Virus to ask him if he could help me out by setting up a GoFundMe page since it's banned in Lebanon. 30 was kind enough to help out and was more than glad to do anything he can in order to help. So we discussed the whole process of setting it up and we announced it. Initially, I thought the maximum I would get would be around 1,000, maybe 2 if people were feeling extra generous. But nope. It gathered over $10,000 in like a week. Through the whole week, I was nearly at tears every single time I saw someone new donating and leaving probably the kindest and most supportive messages I've ever read. It was surreal seeing how many people supported and cared, especially after seeing people give ridiculously large amounts of money. That week felt very weird since when you've always thought your whole life that you are someone of insignificance, or when you've put your expectations very low, and then you are met with the exact opposite and literally 10 times your expectations, your brain gets all confused and all sorts of emotions start dancing in your head. But they were all, of course, just positive emotions, and well, all I'm trying to say is it was too much kindness that it broke me, in the good way, of course. And well, things after that became way more clear and easier. Now that everyone had helped me raise a big sum of money that's enough to add on to whatever I've had saved, and confidently help me move my entire family into a new country, I went ahead and did that. The process was a bit more complicated. I had to go there first with me and my dad alone, find a suitable house, which took way longer than we expected because, well, some landlords there aren't the nicest, but there's always good people who don't really care where you're from and just want to give you a service like anyone else, like renting a house. After we had rented a house and settled everything legally, we brought along my little sister and my entire PC setup. Yes, I somehow managed to get all my setup moved without any of it being broken, which was really cool. I mean, it's all thanks to my dad's godlike packaging skill. After everything here was going smooth, we brought my big sister a while later because she had to stay in Lebanon for a few extra months to get her master's degree in chemistry. And that's where we are at now. All of that was done purely thanks to you guys. Every single person who's ever watched our videos, every person who's ever decided our content is worthy of their subscription, every person who's ever left an encouraging comment or DM'd me something nice telling me to stay strong, and every person who's donated to that GoFundMe that week. I truly don't think I would ever be able to do anything to repay you people who literally saved me and my family's life. It was also all thanks to people I've met on the internet. If it wasn't for people like Tyler and other friends who kept giving me emotional and moral support, or 30 Virus who helped organizing the entire GoFundMe, none of this would have happened. I said at the end of my tweet longer, quote, "I hope I can keep my composure long enough to see the light at the end of this miserable, endless dark tunnel." Back when I wrote that, I never really expected things to get actually better. But well, here I am. And again, it's all thanks to you guys. Okay, that was a lot to unpack. But well, now for the part of the video where I announce a change that Tyler always wanted to make. And that change is that we are going to change the name of this channel. As you've probably noticed from the new name. Yeah, it's going to be Tyler with 4 R's, because 1 R isn't cool enough. He thought the name Furry E-Boy was a bit of a bad name overall and wanted to rebrand, which I really support, and I'm happy he's doing what makes him more comfortable. It won't change anything at all really content-wise. We'll still make the same type of content, of course. It's just that the name was changed, nothing more really. He also changed his in-game Minecraft name to something else. I don't know what it is just yet at the time of scripting, but I'll put the new name on screen. And well, thanks for sticking till the end of this video. It really means a lot to me that people are interested in knowing my story. I'll try to answer most questions you guys have in the comments, and I'm fully open to discuss stuff there. I'm sorry if something wasn't very cohesive. It was really hard putting this whole thing together in the first place, as I just end up writing it then deleting it over and over across weeks, because for some reason it was really hard to sit down for hours and write about this whole thing. I don't know why exactly, but it felt so draining really quickly. And again, I love every single one of you. Thank you for being here for me and saving me and my family's lives. I really suck at making outros, so here's a list of all the amazing people who helped donating to the GoFundMe.